Hi guys, Peter Finch here and welcome down to Finch Friday, your weekly golf Q&A. And yet again, loads of questions in, thank you so much. I'm going to pick out 5 that hopefully I've not answered before or maybe give an update on some and get through them forthwith. Okay, so first question here from Cam.Muniz. Thoughts on the Cobra one length hybrids? And there's also loads of questions on one length irons as well. People obviously getting excited about the new year. So I've been using my one length irons now for over a year, I think now. I can't remember the first time I put them in the bag, but I've been having decent-ish success with them, I suppose. I think I might look to change out of them this year. I'm certainly not seeing massive gains. Let's put it that way. I don't think there's really much of a difference between what I was doing with my normal progressive length irons and the one length irons. The only difference is there's definitely a discrepancy in peak heights. It's as simple as that. So the pitching wedge, even though it is a different head density, even though it is a different shaft makeup throughout my bag, I still can't get that peak height the same, especially when I get to my 4-iron, it comes out like an absolute bullet. In some circumstances, that's fine, but in others, maybe not. And I've not hit the one length hybrids. The one thing I would say is with a hybrid head design, because it is that halfway house between a fairway wood and an iron, there's more potential to move weight around in that club head. So let's say with the lower lofted hybrids, you can put the weight further back in the head to try and increase launch a little bit more. I don't know the way that Cobra are going to go with it, and I don't know how one length irons as a whole will be received and hybrids will be received. I think they had a decent amount of success last year with the one lengths. They sold out of the limited stock that they did. So I can see people starting to buy into it. If there is that big difference, I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen a big enough difference to really warrant me saying, yes, one length is the way forward. So technical question here from TWP23. What would you look at to first stop hooks and pull draws? So this is a type of question that I do get a lot, and a lot of people jump the gun with this. So if you are pulling gear, pull drawing gear, or if you're having an errant shot, a slice, whatever it may be, first place to look at is club face. So where that club face is aiming is going to have the most dominant effect on where that ball finishes. It's as simple as that. Then you also need to have a look at strikes. So obviously heel and toe strikes, especially with the drivers, they are going to have an effect on overall ball flight. So club face is the most important aspect. Now when you have a look at club face, what's the main determining factor on what changes club face angle at impact? Is going to be how you're gripping it and what your wrist angles are doing throughout the swing. So those are the 2 places to start. It's amazing how many lessons that I've given of people who swing over the top, but they use a grip which isn't conducive. You change the grip and they start straightening out swing path or making different movements through the ball. Club face is always the key. Club face is your first point of call for any shots which are going a long way offline. So don't go jump into big mechanical changes within the swing straight away. You know, there are little subtleties that you can do within the grip and wrist angles to have a big impact on ball flight. Question here from Matt_Allen05. How much of a difference does shaft stiffness make? I was fitted for both X-Stiff and Stiff Flex by 2 different fitters. So shaft stiffness makes more of a difference if you have a big jump. So let's say a senior flex shaft to an X-Stiff shaft. Obviously there's going to be a big difference in how those feel when you hit, and there will be a difference to the numbers it will give on a launch monitor. When you start to get to a level where you're using stiff to extra stiff shafts, there probably won't be as big as a difference as you may think. But it is so much down to the individual. I mean, obviously we get a lot of questions asked about equipment, and it really depends on what you're doing with your swing. Golf is such an individual sport, and the delivery of that club into impact is generally incredibly individual as well. So to try and understand and figure out what you're doing at impact, it's not always easy. So it comes down to which of the fitters you trusted more and which delivered better results. Because at the end of the day, if you are going to get fitted for irons, you need to be looking at the data in 2 ways. The numbers that are showing and what you're actually seeing. You know, what is producing better results? If it's a stiff flex rather than an X-Stiff flex, the only thing you've got to take out the question is ego. I have seen so many players go into a much stiffer shaft than they need when they would probably get better results from a much softer flex shaft. So that's always something to bear in mind. Question here from BC Line 2. Who has the better chance at a slam, Rory or Jordan? So for people who aren't familiar with the sport, the Grand Slam is to win all 4 majors within a career. There's a very few number of players who've actually achieved that because it is so difficult to, first of all, win a major, but also to win a major in all these different conditions. You think of all the difference between Augusta to the US Open to a British Open. You know, there's a lot of different permutations involved. You have to have a complete game to win those things. I mean, you look at someone like Rory, whose game, it's really custom built for Augusta, but that's the one major where you'd probably say he has underperformed to his potential, apart from that final last round where he had just had that blow up. Personally, I think he will win it because he's just too good of a player not to. And Rory certainly has the ability to just blow away a field and just blow away a tournament if he's on his A game, because he is that good of a golfer. And the way that he hits certainly his longer shots is incredibly impressive. His weakness really is his wedges. His putting, you wouldn't say he's up there with the best in the world, but a lot of the time it's because his wedge play isn't putting him close enough to try and convert a lot of those putts. Now you compare that to someone like Jordan Spieth, whose swing isn't pretty. You know, it's not something that you would look at and go, oh, what a beautiful swing, you know, when you compare it to Rory's. But what Spieth has is just unbelievable grit, unbelievable determination, unbelievable focus, and inner strength that is probably the best in the game. And you couple that with the fact that his putting, we all know, is absolutely extraordinary when he's on fire. It's hard to say which one is the favourite to do it. I mean, in my heart of hearts, I would say that probably Spieth, just because he is so gritty, and scary to think how young he is. Mind you, Rory's not exactly a fogey, is he? Let's say they're going to both get the Grand Slam. Okay, let's get this question. Last question here from OPT_golf. In the recent golf releases from TaylorMade and Callaway, which range do you think will have the most impact / most use in the coming year? Ooh, this is an interesting one. I would probably say that Callaway has the momentum. So certainly TaylorMade, when they brought out the M1 and the M2, the original versions, they gained a lot of traction with those clubs. You know, they look great, they perform really, really well, and people really bought into that. The M1 and the M2 that they brought out last year, it kind of continued the trend, but because they weren't new drivers, I'm not sure people really bought into it. And then the M3 and the M4, it's had very, very mixed results as far as what people think of it. With the Callaway Epic last year, it really did just blow away the competition, and they gained such great traction that they're going to have a natural momentum building into this year. How the Rogue stuff's going to be received, I don't know, because it's got a lot of the same technologies in that the Epic had, and Callaway have already said that they're not discontinuing the Epic. The Rogue is a new version of that technology. So it's going to be hard to tell, but as always, you know, comment below, what do you think about these releases? Are these something that you are excited about? Right guys, thank you so much for watching this week's Finch Friday. Please comment below as always. Thank you for all the questions. I'm sorry I can't get through all of them every week, but please keep asking. We will get to them eventually. So thanks for watching. Make sure you comment, like the video, share it around, follow me on my other social media platforms as well, and we'll see you down here next time.